who has demos? So David, do you have a demo?
I do not.
Okay, I can hope. I can hope that's fine.
I haven't touched Let's Encrypt in like 4 weeks. Like I've just been busy over here, so
One day.
doing other things.
Maybe someone will do it before.
Yeah, I do have a repo out there if somebody wants to add to it.
Don't worry, I'm just asking in case I'm not pushing you. Don't worry. Antoine, demo?
Yes.
What it is? I have an idea. Zoltan, for sure no demo because you never do anything.
I have a demo actually.
Yeah, Mark maybe. Mark demo. I saw something. I saw a tweet.
Maybe Zoltan.
Okay, Lombik. Let's say Lombik. I don't think I have a demo. I'll see. I've done something, so maybe. Check with the status. Fix some bugs. So status, common. Orchard 1. Orchard 1. There were some PRs, I think. Nope, nothing was merged. Interesting. Oh, the 2 PRs. Okay, they were from last week. Okay, 2 PRs from Laser. So we are just waiting for that to be released. Let's ping Benedek. Should be quick. Like build, push, done. Orchard core. Core, and going back, can I filter on origin dev? Berk. It's ugly. Nope, doesn't work. Oh. Maybe if I type it here. Yes, okay. So focusing on what's on dev right now. So last week, I'm not sure about the time, in the morning, so we talked about it. Then we talked about it too, tenants management improvements, remove SqlProvider filter from tenants admin. Yeah, based on feedback we gave to Antoine, we don't need to filter the tenants based on their database provider. Even more that in a soon future, it will be just configuration, not just a setting. Removing classes related to content management. What is that? Oh, just refactoring because some classes requiring content management project were in the GraphQL abstraction, so the GraphQL module. So I reorganized it. David added the missing updatedAsync content handler, and then later, like yesterday and this morning, added the unpublish workflow event, which is related. So David is using workflow. I updated to the 2.2.1 packages. Then perf improvements, and I think security fixes also. Fixing model binding. Fixing model binding for what? For the media field driver. What is that? Oh, if that thing can be done. Okay. I see. Bug report. Updating thread, which I did again 10 minutes ago to fix bugs that. So first, bugs that I introduced recently when I tried to fix other bugs. So I fixed some white space handling issues, very specific cases last week, which I updated. And that was the update. And then this morning, Jasmine found a bug with how it was converting objects to integers, not automatically, so now it's fixed. And I also added a feature I will show you later. TitlePart migration, so this is a migration step to migrate all the title parts that were in the title part, well, all the titles from the title part, to move it to the display text of the content item. So now it's done automatically. If you come from a beta 2, all the titles will be migrated automatically, and it has been tested on different sites that were not just mine, so that works. I'm confident with that. Add the display text filter. So this is a new contributor, Loniv, who added a text box filter in the content items list to filter elements by title, and this is one of the reasons we added that thing a few months ago, to move the title to the content item, the display text, so we can filter that. So now it's filtering on that. It's good, without having to enable Lucene and change the admin shapes or whatever. Now we can search by display text. Added package reference. So this is, I assume, when you have a module that has views, you need a reference to the MVC project. GraphQL content items property to ListPart. This is just a new property on any ListPart called ContentItems that will let us display and page the content items of a list. For instance, a blog. Now we can query a blog and list its content items without having to query blog posts, which could come from different blogs. These are different things. So this is kind of the content container part. This is the new container part, and now we can display its elements. Skip and first are available also, with a default to 10. So it's paging by default to 10. Okay, for security reasons, just to prevent anyone that would forget to provide a page, and from preventing them from loading all the blog posts in memory and returning them. If you want everything, you can put a custom page, but you might want to add a limit to that, but at least there is a default page. Retain displayed filter value. This was a PR from Loniv, but 2 PRs with 1 commit each, so I changed that to get only 1 PR. The idea was when you type a display text in the filter, it keeps it, doesn't lose it. New contributor, Eranax, no more name, James Goggin from Australia, and the change is to fix the title part in XmlRpc, because it's not in the title part anymore, it's the display text. Patching stack overflow when running title migrations. So there was a bug in conflicting behavior between Orchard and SQL, which triggered a stack overflow when we were running this migration for the titles, and I fixed it first quickly to unblock Antoine by checking that we have already or not executed this migration, or we already have display text, which means we are running with a more advanced version than beta 2. And then I fixed it correctly after taking the time to fix it in SQL by updating SQL, by fixing some things in SQL. The issue was coming from taxonomy index provider, which was so the index provider in taxonomy is a special one. It's a scoped index provider, which means the index provider itself is not static logic. It will be resolved with a session. And when it's resolved, it will look for all the types. Well, when we save something that has a taxonomy field, it will look for all the fields of a taxonomy. And then to do that, it will look at all the types that have a taxonomy field. And to get the types, it will resolve something. But by resolving something and loading the content, well, it will load the content type definitions. And by loading them, it will try to commit a SQL session, which itself will trigger the taxonomy mapping, which itself will trigger loading the content type definition, and so on. So I fixed the issue by preventing two two stacked or two recursive commit async. If there is one current commit async, we don't need to auto-flush again. So the idea was that auto-flush was triggering auto-flush, which was triggering auto-flush. That's kind of the idea. So now it's fixed, and I also found a bug with Antoine's database that if you added the taxonomy field later on to a content type, some content items might not have the field, so these things could be null. Okay, and that's it. I also improved that in SQL, by the way, that if we call commit async on a disposed instance, it will just be a no-op. It won't throw an exception. It means there is nothing to do. It has already been disposed. Okay, that's it for this commit. You notice that I made a mistake. I did a merge instead of a squash merge because I was on my phone and it was not set up correctly. So this is updating fluid with white space again. No, this one was another one. Yeah, the previous one was fixing the white space support handling. This one was because of my changes in white space. I added a bug that someone discovered. If you were using Unix file line endings 2 in a row, then there will be an issue in the parsing, so it's fixed now. It was just a small index issue, +1 or -1, something like that. So it's fixed. The fixing index provider stack overflow exception. This is the merge of the commit. So this is what I just mentioned. Migrating body part. So right before beta 2, we changed the body part to HTML body part. So to help people migrating to beta 3, I made a migration that is the same thing as a title part, that just looks for anything that is a body part and moves it to a HTML body part. And I tried it on Ara Derderian at Cloud Construct, and it works well now, which means after this commit, because I made a mistake. What is? Oh, I'm at the bottom. Yes, I made a mistake. I copy pasted the title part translation, the migration, which was containing this test. But here, if we have DisplayText, we still need to convert the HTML body part. So I just removed that. Migrating body part, fixing 2879, which is from Nick. These messages don't help a lot. Fixing 2879, Nick. So the idea is to expose exceptions from GraphQL. I made a comment later on that this is weird to specify a configuration only if it's in debug, so we should not do that. If it's a configuration, there's already a flag, so we will change that soon. Added unpublish workflow event from David, I already mentioned that. And Crowdin badge. So we have a badge on the README to point to the Crowdin page with the localization files, and Antoine also added 2 links in the documentation based. Yeah, we talked about it last week, so he did that. Awesome, thank you, Antoine. Fixing the fix, updating the thread because script Jasmin found a bug that if you want to cast an object to an integer, it was not working as the documentation was suggesting, and I added a new feature with that, which is, this is interesting, let me show you. So if I go to the Liquid Shopify GitHub, here I looked at the commit to see if they fixed some bugs recently. I didn't see anything special, just refactoring, and then I saw that merge pull request October 11 were filter. I'm like, what is that? If you look at it, they explain what it is. It's a new filter in Liquid that lets you filter. So if you pass an array or list, you pipe it to where, you can say where pinned, and by default, if you pass a name of a property of anything that is passed as an input, it will check that this thing is true. Okay, and filter any element from this list where this property is true. And you can optionally pass a second value, which will be the value you want to test on. So if it's not true, you can pass a custom value. So it will filter all the products where the category is equal to kitchen. So it's like the where statement in link, but in liquid. Super useful. It's not even documented on their site yet. So I just, because I was working on Thread, I implemented it too. So if anyone wants to use that, that must be super useful. I show it's there. So that's part of this update, a fix and a new feature. Questions? No questions. And I see you, etc. What did I fix? Oh yeah, the parsing issues in Thread. Okay, that's what's based on your issue, and also someone else also found the same issue. So it was a good fix then. Demos. We have demos. So Mark said Zoltan will do a demo, and Antoine said he will do a demo. So let's do it by alphabetical order. Antoine.
Okay. So I made a simple test.
Wait, we can't see. Okay, we can see your screen.
Okay. I tried to localize the documentation. So I made a repository and I just pasted the mkdocs.yml and the index.nd, and I configured read the docs to specify that this repository is the French localization of the main one. Now if I am on the home page, you can see there is the English language and also the French one.
Can't see anything right now. We are still on GitHub. Okay. So there's some lag. Now we can see that this is the English one so far. Oh no, there is a French one. Okay, it's French. The type. Yeah. Okay, I'm confused.
On the bottom left, you have a little expanded menu. You can switch.
So we can do FR latest, FR dev, English latest, English dev.
We could, yes. But it depends on how many pages you translate and how many branches you make, I guess.
So it's an option in read the docs. You can point to different languages.
Not this one, so on the read the docs website.
Yeah, we're still on the. It's super laggy, like we have one frame every 20 seconds.
I'm connecting in the meantime. And in the settings.
Yeah, we don't see anything. We're still on the English one.
Okay. So I added a Decipo as the French translation of the main one.
And it handles that automatically. So if I go myself, I'm not sharing right now, but I will try. I should see it. I see it. If I click FR, it works. Okay. So you didn't. Okay, it's very limited right now, but I assume it's on purpose. Too much work to do.
It's only the first page.
Okay.
Yes, and see, you respect the same hierarchy of file. I guess it will work. And switch between languages.
Okay, so we will. So do we need to host that on our organization, but with different repos.
I did it on our chart core FR with GitHub account. So if you want to create a repository
I think maybe, I don't know, I think that will be better to have it. Yeah, I think we should keep the English only on the main repository, because otherwise we'll have lots of PRs just for translations, and we are not ready for that. But we could have the repositories in the same organization, one repository per language. I assume this way you can provide different different owners, and people focusing on, I don't know, Chinese won't get bothered by PRs on French.
Yes.
And you should have started with Chinese, actually, because you have more Chinese users than French users. So if you could...
it would be auto-translation. I don't think it would be well translated.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we could do the repositories, add the repositories on the chart CMS.
Yeah, I think that's fine to have as many repositories as we want for the localization. It's risky though that people could just go to their language and think it's up to date, or this is the documentation, or at least if we have some warning at the top, like saying this might not be accurate. The official source is the English one. Okay, but that's good. That's nice, super nice. The fact that Redodocs can support that, like it.
Okay. And today I also moved the PO files on Crowdin and to put them all of them at the root of the.
Yeah, I'm sharing because we can't see your screen. So I'm sharing, and if I go to the, you can see my screen. You'll drive me, but if I go to from the French one, I can't go to the English one. But from the English, I can go to the French one. It's an issue. So if I go there, because you added a link somewhere, right? On the dev
in the chat.
Wait. Localization. You made a PR to add the link. So if I can't find it, we have an issue.
We can see
look here. Oh, that's a
dev.
badge. Here, I have it.
Yes.
Okay, so what you say if I go, now it's 64% and more 100%, right? This is because you updated the files, and we have all the files in one folder. Good. And if I say, so this is the Chinese one, so if I say download, let's see how it looks like. Be almost beautiful, and you know why? Why?
Yeah, but I cannot really change the format Crowdin uses.
I'm confused now. I thought this was us who defined that. Okay, so it's not us. They add dash and the language automatically?
Yes.
I didn't get that, because when we talked about it last week, we said, okay, we should use a dot.
I don't know why.
Okay, so it's always dash. Is someone saying something? No. It's always a, so we need to change our code to use a dash. That's the reason why we need to change to a dash.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It was not clear in your comments. That Crowdin always adds a dash. Okay, then feel free to continue with your PR using the dash, and also updating the documentation in your PR to say it should be a dash. But yeah, that's nice, because then this will be in the either in the main folder or in for each culture with its name. Okay.
And I try to translate, for example, try your chart.fr. I try to translate it in French, but it doesn't seem to work with an application using NuGet packages.
Script made it. No, script changed the script. Jasmine changed that 2 weeks ago. Yes, to fix the NuGet package issue, because the locations have to be in specific location, and this is documented. This is documented here. Localization. So you need to follow this pattern, but the issue is that it's looking in the AppData localization for a dot culture name. That's the issue. And that's why we told you to use the dot in the file name that you generate. But we didn't know that the files that are generated by Crowdin are a dash. So that's why it doesn't work. So that's why I'm saying in the PR you made recently, you can keep the dash, but also change the documentation. And then it will find the correct links.
Yeah, but even with a dot, it doesn't work. But I will try again.
Okay.
It was not working there. It was working in the source code, but not in an application using NuGet packages.
Okay. Also, there is an issue here. There is an issue. Okay, look at what we suggested here for each module and theme files matching. So none of these patterns match what Crowdin is generating, and there is no way to change what the files Crowdin generates, because it's either module ID / culture name. So in this case, for each module, we could have a folder with all the cultures, or in the same folder, module ID .culture name, which is what you try to do, but it's a dash, or culture name, and for each culture, all the modules. So I would assume.
Yes, but file by file. Go to the settings on Crowdin and change it file by file. So it's a bit painful to configure.
Okay, so this one should work, as if we have the dash stay here. That will work. Yeah, this one should work. Okay, good. But we have to test with NuGet packages. Okay, let's see. Find an issue if you think there is an issue.
Yes.
Else?
And when beta 3 is released, I told you, but I will try to configure the integration between Crowdin and GitHub to publish when there is for example, you can enable it on master and dev and say publish on L10N_dev branch, adding the PO files in a folder you configure.
Of the repository? In the folder? I don't get it. So what is Crowdin doing?
It's pushing on a branch prefixed by L10N_, and you can specify in which folder you want to push the PO files.
But we don't want the PO files in the GitHub repository.
Okay.
For all the language, why would we do that?
I don't know, but that's how Crowdin integration with GitHub works.
Yeah, but it's fine if the files are on Crowdin as long as we point to them.
Okay.
Because otherwise, I mean, we push some changes in or some tool runs, or I don't know what's the schedule or whatever, but they will push PO files on our repository just to update them. We don't need to track the sources from that. Crowdin is the source tracker for translations.
Okay. And what did you want to say when you explained that PO files would be included in the get packages?
Yes, that we can make a NuGet package independently from our NuGet packages that contains the modules. We could make one NuGet package for each language containing all the PO files of that's it, and that can be a different CI step. Okay, we could do a CI step that on every of our releases, we also build a NuGet package per language that is on Crowdin. So we could list from Crowdin all the languages that are supported and create a NuGet package for each of the languages. So we can also publish them, and then people will be able to reference a NuGet package to get the PO files. They will not have to go on Crowdin to find the PO files. It could be just a NuGet package, and it could be updated automatically because we will just do a new release and the translation will be updated. That would be super useful. We just need to build a NuGet package so that when it's restored in the appdata / localization / language and all the files. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. And yes, this could be automated in our already existing CI steps. Totally. When we go on master, for instance, it could be also on dev. Why not? Because we just 10 more packages to publish, which are supposedly super small. So that should be. That's the idea. If I have an issue so we don't forget, but I think there is already an issue for that. Maybe. Not sure. We'll see. Good. Thank you, Antoine, for all these localization updates. And people are already asking, how do I localize and how do I localize the content, which is the next step.
Yeah, and I opened an issue on Lucas Gilbert PO extractor to ask him to create, for example, a documentation on Orchard Core about how you can use a PO extractor to generate your files. And I suggested him to make it a .NET tool and publish it on NuGet.
Okay.
So it will be easier to use it.
Yeah, for some people it's easier. Some others just clone and Okay, good. Thank you. Localized content. Yes, this is the main point, the main blocker to ship RC. Once we have content localization, there is almost nothing that prevents us from shipping RC, in my opinion. Looking back on the roadmap, just to show you roadmap. Boom.
I think just very little is needed there actually. So I think something like a stripped down version of what was localization part, so basically a way to tie together different versions of a content item.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah, the same way we did in Norton 1++ since the localization changes with a master content item ID and localized versions that are related to the master content item ID. Content localization, which also references right to left admin theme, and you see localization package, that's what Antoine was mentioning. NuGet packages that will contain localization for that, and the rest is already done or not blocking for RC. Okay, that's really what the goal for RC is, to have that working, content localization. And everything is already solved in Orchard 1 and solved twice. We solved it historically a long time ago, and then we redesigned it like last year with the devs from Laser to make it even better, to fix the issues we had with the previous design. So that should be easy. We need a new set of handler methods to clone to be able to translate things, but that's about it. And same thing, already fixed solved in Orchard 1. Good. +2 + 1,000. Even Americans care about translation. I don't know why. Europeans, we know why. Good. So demos, Zoltan, demo.
All right. Just a sec. I'm moving to a It's a different desktop.
You see my share screen? There is a share button here.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet mentioning some tutorial.
Yeah, that will be it actually.
Cool. I didn't retweet. I was not sure if you wanted to do another announcement or what, so I will retweet after.
All right, great, thank you. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, and everyone can.
Okay, great. So those of you who work with Orchard1.txt may have heard about the training demo module, but for those of you not familiar with it, we created this module way back, like I think in 2012 or something, and kept it up to date. And this is basically an Orchard developer tutorial. It's a module, so it's a usable, actually running Orchard module, but it doesn't have a purpose apart from guiding you through becoming an Orchard developer. And now we have rewritten it to Orchard core. Specifically, Mark has done it. Mark, can you actually see the screen already? Or is it still?
Now you're reconnected, I think. You're reconnected, and I see that it comes in. Now you should be able to see.
All right. Well, it's at least on the recording now. So if you download this module and add it to an Orchard solution, you will get something like this, where the README tells you everything on what to do. Well, even actually how to add it to an Orchard solution. And after that, you just have to follow the instructions. So you start with this start learning here.
I went there, but it stopped at start at this page and then nothing else. I was confused.
There is here you can see the first instruction, which would be about looking into the references and into
then,
the manifest file.
And then I was, and then.
Well, you need to look into the manifest file.
What?
And then
oh, that's
you
the
get
trick.
the next
I got tricked. Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's like that. You always get into a file. There are a lot of comments in there explaining everything, what happens here, why it happens here, and then there is the next station with a follow-up. So, for example, this your first Orchard core controller, which was called your first Orchard controller in the first version, explains some basic Orchard and related services, and it's like that. Currently, it includes all these basic Orchard services, the whole module structure, display management, content management, and static resources as well. So there are CSS files, or at least one CSS file, I think, and at least one image, yeah, and a lot of views as well. So if you follow this, you will end up learning about well, everything that's very useful in Orchard from a developer perspective. And this is the first release, but later we will also include some less important services, but you'd still need to know about those to become a full Orchard developer. We will include all kinds of samples about file management. There will be background tasks, so everything that you would need. But this is the first release, so if you know somebody just wanting to learn about Orchard, and they are more like the read the code and write the code type, I encourage you to let them know about this. It's all up on GitHub.
Very good.
Yeah,
very good.
That's it.
And I will try to find some mistakes. I already can find one. It's good. Line 5. An Orchard module is basically an MVC area. No, that's wrong. An Orchard module is basically a .NET project, a .NET class library. It doesn't have to be an MVC area, but that's okay. I will comment I will create issues to comment. I don't expect everyone to know about everything. I myself learn things as I look at the code. It's good. Very nice. And yeah, I was confused by the approach of I need to go in because I know what a manifest.cs file is, so I wanted to go to the next station, but I had to go in this file to see what's the next station. Interesting. So you do everything from the GitHub repository. I get it now. Cool.
Yeah, you can also do that. If you put it into an auto solution, that will work as well.
So you don't intend to make the version where it's all article based, where instead of saying look at the manifest file, just paste the content that is interesting and explain the full file and the content. You see what I mean? Like a book.
Yeah, we don't plan on doing that, but what we'll add in the next release will be along those lines. Because right now you start here and then follow the guide and you follow. But we'll create in the next release will be kind of a table of contents. So you will basically get articles or lessons, I would say, and it will be a table of contents where check out that and this and that and that, and that will be your first lesson about the basics of a module. And then the second lesson will be about display management, for example. So instead of going from start to finish in linearly, basically, you will have a
okay. And first comment also. Then, if it's like this, why not? When I see head over to manifest.cs, why isn't manifest.cs a link to the manifest.cs file on GitHub? So I can stay in GitHub and click on the link, and it goes there, and then the next station has a link to the next file, and so on. So I can just browse the code like this by following the commands and.
That's an interesting idea. Here it would work. I'm not sure about the code files.
It would work also because you can have a / HTTPS something linked to something. I think it will work from GitHub. We can try. Maybe.
Yeah. We will check out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. I will read it then. I was stuck on the first page. I'm like, what a lazy developer. They just made the first station. They stopped there.
No, there is a payout.
Okay, good. So who had demos also? Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
You should add a documentation, a link to in the documentation where we have a getting started section. We can add a link to that repository so people want to learn about it. It would be great.
That's also a good idea.
Demos, if I share back. Not David Antoine Lambic. Maybe, yeah, I showed you the where. I didn't do much more. I fixed some bugs for beta 3. I did some, perf testing because someone made some perf improvements in Fluid. It was already super fast, now it's even faster, and I can feel it on the benchmarks I ran. Almost as fast as Razor. I mean, the database is still the bottleneck, but not interpreting Fluid, so it's even faster than before, so that's good. I see the impact, and that's what I did. Bug fixes, we still have some beta 3 bugs. I worked one by one on fixing them, but the issue is that on Sunday, somehow, new bugs on SQL, on Fluid and everything, I'm like, well, they always happen in a batch. Issues, milestones, beta 3. Some might not be blocking, some just verification. Like this one, only one person found it, so we should try to repro it. If we can't repro, we'll close it. Potential issue on content picker field, we need to repro. It's an issue with scopes. We'll see if we have a good repro. Not sure. Logging for Docker image on Docker Hub. Apparently there is an issue with the Docker image. We have to check that. Shouldn't be hard to fix, at least to test. This one might be complex, but it's potential important issue, but nobody has complained about it, so it might not be that important. I will have to check. And this one, there is a potential fix proposal. I have to check, but I will look at one by one. 5 bugs should not take that long to fix. I fixed a bunch last week, hoping not very important new ones are coming along this week. We'll see how it goes. If you want to take one, feel free to adopt a bug. Okay, thank you. Questions? New sites, new sites, new sites, new sites. I think I saw a new site. Yes, I saw a new site. Is my thing open here? Let me open there. From Seth, I think. Let me check. Who migrated an old website to Orchard Core, just migrating it, not from Orchard, from another CMS to Orchard Core. No design change, just new CMS. So this was a feature, and if I go there, yes, Seth made this site here. So Ara this morning updating this one on the latest dev, and this one was done prior to beta 2, and he used the migration from TitlePart and BodyPart. So the only thing he had to change was to enable the HTML module, which contains the HTML body part now. So if I look at this one, kitchens. So we shared it on Gitter. Okay, it works. It's quick. He migrated it to Orchard Core. He's happy with that. So we are happy with that too. Yeah, and MLH Boston. This one updated this morning with the latest dev. Super fast also. And as a reminder, no caching at all, because we don't have the module yet, and because it's super fast, we almost don't need caching. It's awesome. The only thing that is cached are the static files. Boom, Orchard Core. Thank you. Beautiful. Kestrel, but it's on Azure, so it must be going through ARR. Correct. So it's proxied by IIS actually. But we still see it's Kestrel because IIS is not removing the server header, unlike Nginx. That's it. Questions? Comments? Anyone wants to start working on content localization, feel free to ping us to chat on Gitter, and we'll give you all the information to do that. Should not be that hard. Lots of people are already interested. Jasmine also wants to convert Canadian to English. Sorry, French Canadian to English. Oh, Jasmine, the website, you shared it, Jasmine. You want us to show it? Your Tractor's website?
No, it's not finished.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful.
Maybe I can show it quickly here if I share my screen, but it's
and the admin changes. Can you show the admin changes actually, because they're also interesting?
Yeah. Maybe.
Make a presenter. So we have another demo. I didn't ask you if you had a demo. I should have asked.
I joined late, so.
That's why I didn't ask you.
Can you see my screen now?
Not yet. We can. Wow.
Yeah.
This is the admin with thumbnails. So the idea is that every line here is a shape template, like summary admin, and you can customize it with alternates for a content type. So if your content type has an image, you can show it in the admin here. To do that, you need to create a custom admin theme that will contain the shapes for your custom admin. And to do that, you have two options: either copy paste the admin theme or create a new one that should have the admin as a base theme and just add the shapes that you want. It should work. This is not what you have done, but someone should try that because it has to work. It's supposed to work. The third option, which is not implemented and could be even better, will be in the templates tab. Can you open the templates in the configuration? So we have a templates module that lets you define shape templates, but these right now are just providing front-end shape templates, so we are not registering them for the admin. But we could have tab that will show admin templates, and then we will be able from the admin to change the summaries, for instance, of any content type to be nicer, so we don't have to create a theme for that. That would be even better.
Yeah.
And that's super simple because so I will share 1 second just to show if someone wants to do that, because that's the best way to get people to that. So I'm sharing right now. Can everyone see? I don't know if everyone can. If I go, I assume everyone can see. If I go to the templates module to show you how it's done, well, if I remember correctly, preview templates, template manager, templates shape binding resolver. This is the thing that will find all the templates, well, provide templates, local templates, target value, shape binding. There's something admin, you see here, if we are getting a descriptor but we are in the admin, then we say no, there is nothing for you. So here you should just say, if it's applied, look into this dictionary. If it's not applied, look into this other dictionary. So that should be super easy to do. Okay, and in the admin, we just need to do a tab. So the controller, when it will create the template itself should have a boolean which will state if it's for an admin or for a front-end thing. Okay.
Yeah, because else it would create a preview, and we don't want to have a preview of the admin like we have for the templates for the front end.
Yeah. Also, we could remove that too. Okay, you can share back and show your site if you want.
Tell me when you can see it.
When you can see it. Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Big tractors.
Yeah, I created a search engine with Lucene here, so I'm not sure if it's working right now, but I can try to. Because I just imported all the records, so yeah, I'm getting some results, but it's not finished. And
it's good.
Yeah. This is the website. Mostly, it's just those pages.
You need a faceted search. You need to show all the filters on the left and with the variable values so they can check and uncheck.
Yeah, I wanted to have something like a pop-up here, so I'm going to remove this big box there and maybe have an icon to open up that panel from the side.
Yeah.
Just to.
It's good. It's already good. Like it.
Yeah. I had just a few time for doing this, so I'm trying to do it really quick.
That's good.
I'm not too much on details, so.
Beautiful. Thank you. Good job. Ship it.
You're welcome. Yeah. I'm trying. This is crazy.
Okay, good. Questions, comments from anyone?
The query, yeah. Maybe I change it because I'm making tests, but.
Show me the query. Which query? The Lucene query? Ah, I shared my screen. Ah, I hid your screen. Yeah, that's not a Lucene query. That's an Elasticsearch query.
Yeah, it's an Elasticsearch query.
But we are not using that uses Lucene to do the query.
Yeah.
But that's better than a Lucene query because it's easier and it's documented on Elasticsearch. For those who don't know, the story is that we use Lucene by default, but the Lucene simple expressions are very limited. So we are parsing the same language as Elasticsearch, which is not as limited, and converting it to a Lucene query. Okay, so you shared it here, so that's nice. Converting it to a Lucene query, to Lucene API calls, okay? Something like this. This is from Elasticsearch. And then we execute that, so that's much more powerful. And just to give you the source, Elasticsearch query, you just go on the documentation, something like this. So this one is a term query. You just say query for the term named user, search for the value kimchi, and then you have lots of options for sorting, filtering on fields, and
yeah, you want to use the wildcard query there for filtering per field in Archer.
Okay, and you can do things like this. That's cool. That's cool. And it's just a JSON document, so parsing it is super easy. Then we just navigate traverse, whatever, the nodes, and build a Lucene API query in object that matches that. Super easy. Thank you, Elasticsearch.
The only thing I've not been able to do with that is aggregating different content types within just one query.
I don't trust you.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to do that. The documentation
because here you say term, but it should be terms.
Yeah, if you say terms, then you have like a content type name. You pass an array, and the issue is that when you do wildcard after that, and you're trying to filter by field name, then all your content types doesn't have the same field names. So.
Okay, then that's for you. Let's change your query. So you need to accumulate them like that with that and that or that, and make multiple queries.
If I'm concatenating, if I'm aggregating, if I'm using the terms query, then I'm going to have all the fields of all the content types that I have. So if I want to filter, then after that, I need to find out. But yeah, this is the only issue that I have. Yeah.
Soon you will be able to do a SQL query. Then, boom, done.
yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks, Rasma. Any other question, comments? Then, thanks everyone. See you on Thursday for the triage or next week for shipping beta 3, like we said a month ago. Bye-bye.
Bye.